Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Monday night's Novak News. Tonight, your hosts are Thomas Sims, myself, and Jonathan Vescio to my right. Now, tonight we are looking at the top performing Northern Beaches suburbs of 2024 and our top suburb predictions for 2025. So let's get straight to it. Well, Jonathan, how are you? How was your day?
Yeah, good. Not too bad. How was yours?
It was good.
Good. I feel like we weren't here too long ago. Like it was a couple of weeks ago we were on the mic here. So good to be back.
Yeah, here we go again. So it's another Monday night here at Novak in DY. And tonight we wanted to break down the top performing suburbs in the Northern Beaches of 2024 and then give a little prediction of some top performing suburbs in the Northern Beaches for this year. So I'm going to hand it over to Jonathan to just let you guys know of some stats and facts from last year's sales.
Yeah, so I've popped together just the top 5 sales of 2024. I feel like not a lot of people know kind of what the top 4 sales or top 5 sales are in that 12-month period. So I thought it'd be quite interesting, just to touch on that for a little bit and just kind of see what properties were getting those big prices and what suburbs they were in. So we've got 41 Battle Boulevard in Seaforth. So that came in at number 5. That sold for 15.7 million. So that was a good sale in Seaforth. That's the only one we saw in Seaforth over the top 5, which was interesting because I kind of thought that we'd see it a bit more in Seaforth. Next one is 1005 Barrenjoey Road in Palm Beach. So that one sold for 16 million. That was a good sale, good price. Obviously, stunning property being in Palm Beach, one of the more expensive suburbs in the Northern Beaches. Number 3 was 106 Iluka Road in Palm Beach as well. So that one sold for 18 million. So as you can see, Palm Beach is obviously taking the ropes a little bit there in terms of the higher end market in the Northern Beaches. In number 2, 35 North Stain in Manly. We did definitely have to get a Manly one in there. It wouldn't be the Northern Beaches without a Manly sale in the top 5. So that one sold for 25.3. So definitely a very big price. And I think the year before that we saw Bower Street around that 34 mil. So Manly's definitely always up there in the top 5. It would have been very weird to see it not in there. And topping it off is 83 Pacific Road in Palm Beach, a massive 26.25 mil. That one sold just a massive price, really nice property. But that one took the cake this year at 26 mil. So a very, very big price there.
Yeah, lots of big sales, I feel like, this year.
Yeah, I feel like 2 very, very big sales across the whole Northern Beaches. Interesting to see not too many Manleys in there. I thought there might have been 1 or 2 extra Manleys in there. But in saying that, I think Palm Beach looks like, to me, has taken the cake on the most expensive suburb of the Northern Beaches this year. So then moving forward, we're just going to be talking about the top performing suburbs. So top performing suburbs for houses, surprise, surprise, Palm Beach is at the top with a 16.9% growth since 2023. So it's definitely gone up. And that would definitely have something to do with the top 3 of the top 5 sales being from Palm Beach. And then the median value for a house in Palm Beach at the moment is 5.2, whereas in 2023 it was at 4.45 mil. So it's definitely come up. I think those 3 big sales have got something to say about it. And I think it's only on its way up from here as well. And then number 2, surprise again, is Manly. So Manly is a 9.9% growth since 2023. So still doing well, Manly. It's always done well. And I think it's just going to continue to grow. So in 2023, the median value of a house in Manly was 4 million. And then now we're seeing it towards the end of 2024, beginning of 2025 at 4.54. So definitely some growth there. I'm not too sure if it's going to grow as quickly as Palm Beach. However, it's definitely still growing.
I wonder if Palm Beach will continue to grow as well coming into this year.
I think so too. I think it definitely will. Just being on the fact that even if you go for a drive down to Palm Beach, you'll see a lot being built, which is most likely going to be sold. And in those, those higher end suburbs, you're seeing big prices now, which is going to set the market for there. So I think it's definitely going to pick up.
Yeah, I think that sense of seclusion up in that area too is a big factor to people these days. There's a lot of space to build on.
Yeah.
So you can build like your dream house, and I think a lot of people are wanting to get into that as we get into 2025. But as Jono said, Manly had featured one of the top 5 biggest sales last year in 2024, and it is one of the highest growing suburbs from 2024 as well. That's for houses, and we've also seen that it's last year 10% of an increase. In units too. So that was the median value you'd see in 2024 at about $1.62 million. And we've seen recently it's hit about $1.78 million. So while it's not featuring as heavily as Palm Beach in the top 5 biggest sales, it's definitely still having a lot of capital growth throughout 2024.
Yeah.
So it still could be a really good place to buy coming into 2025. And a surprising suburb that's come in has been Balgowlah. So we've seen an 18% growth rate from 2023 coming into 2024 and now hitting 2025. Your median value for a unit in Balgowlah was about $1.29 million. It's now sitting at about $1.52 million. So that's been a huge rise in the last year and a little bit as well. So if you're looking for, entry-level units, Balgowlah is definitely a up-and-coming suburb. There's also been a lot of duplexes being built there too, one of which we're actually selling, which is still being built due for completion in April. That's 10 Lower Beach Street in Balgowlah. So I think Balgowlah as a whole is a very, very good suburb to invest in and buy in coming into 2025.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's interesting to see Manly on there as units as well. They've done well with 10% growth again. So Manly's definitely one of the more luxurious suburbs to be buying property in. If you were buying over the past 5 to 10 years or so, you're definitely still making money on your property. So I would definitely be holding on to those for a little bit longer. But if you are looking to buy in Manly, apartments or houses, it's definitely still a good time because it's still on the way up. And interesting to see Balgowlah in for the units.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to see an 18% growth in Balgowlah on apartments, but no, it's very interesting to see.
Yeah, there's lots happening in Balgowlah. It's good to see. It's quite a growing suburb. And a lot of people I've found are looking specifically in Balgowlah.
Yeah.
When they come through an open home, one of the things they say is that they're looking in Balgowlah. And that's surprising. You look back 5 or so years, people are looking, definitely closer to the beach. But Balgowlah's kind of snuck in and got its place. It's earned its spot.
It'll be interesting to see what it does over the next 12 months as well.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're interested in our opinion for properties and suburbs to look for in 2025, we'll start with units and myself. I think Fairlight. It's close to Manly. I think Fairlight's on the rise. It's got its own kind of secluded beaches, and the apartments that have been built there are actually really luxurious and well renovated. So I think coming into 2025, keep an eye out on Fairlight apartments. I think they're really good value at the moment. So if people jump on the trend, I think they'll really have a lot of capital growth in the next year.
Yeah. Awesome. And for me, units, I'm thinking Queenscliff. Reason being, obviously, similar to what Thomas has just said, so quite close to Manly, on the back of Manly. So Manly's really good in terms of growth, but people look to span out from those areas. So I think, units, Queenscliff. So we see units on the market at the moment, 1-bedroom apartments in Queenscliff going for 600,000, 700,000. In a suburb that close to Manly, that close to the beach, is very hard to find. And I mean, that's something that I think is going to be on the rise in 2025.
I'd love to buy in Queenscliff.
I think it's a really
1-bedroom in Queenscliff is an incredible option.
Yeah, I definitely think you just really can't go wrong there. And I think your capital growth in 2025 and the years moving forward is always going to go really well for you, which you can't really go wrong with buying next to the beach, I think. And then in terms of houses, I think, and I've been saying this for quite some time now, is Curl and North Curl area. I don't know what it is about Curl, but I've just it's got a bit of soft spot in my heart, and I just see it on the rise. So I think the Manly, Queenscliff, that kind of market for houses, freshwater house market is quite high at the moment, and I think that Curl hasn't really caught up to it yet, but it's the next suburb across. So I see that over the next 5 years or so, the Curl market's going to go quite well. And I think that the market's going to pick up quite quickly in Curl. We saw a sale that almost made it into the top 5 for this year around the 12 million mark, I think it was, for Curl. So you're starting to see some big prices come along there. It hasn't quite caught up, but I think over the next couple of years or so, it's definitely going to start, hitting those record prices as well as Manly and Freshwater.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
I completely agree. North Curl's a great part of the Northern Beaches. I could see you living there 100%. You'd want to live there. For myself, I think a really hot growing suburb for houses is Narrowena. We've sold a couple of properties in Narrowena recently, very close to where Jonathan lives, actually.
Yeah.
So he knows the area really well. But I think Narrowena is a really good opportunity. There's really big blocks in Narrowena, so you have an opportunity to build up high. You can reach ocean views from Narrowena, and it's very centralized in the Northern Beaches. It's not too far from anywhere. It's close to DY if you want transport. It's close to the beach if you want to go to the beach. What else are you here for? But in terms of getting places close to shops, close to schools, it's really centralized there. So I think Narrowena will be a very up-and-coming suburb in 2025. I think the capital growth will increase quite significantly, potentially more than we've seen for Manly alone. It could reach that Palm Beach levels percentage-wise for capital growth this year, if those types of buyers are out there looking to build their dream home and get really good value for their property.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. So even we sold one in Alfred Street, 1.875. We sold it. It's an old little house on a nice sized block. If you were to knock that down and rebuild it, you'd probably resell for about 4 mil, because it's got ocean views from where it is at the moment on the single level. If you put 2-3 levels on it, your resale price is quite good in terms of the market's also going up there. So even something like that, I think there's going to be a lot more of that happening, a lot more of people buying to renovate, house flip, that kind of thing, because the suburb is quite ideal. It's in terms of you've got views and you're also really close to everything, but then again, you're also quite secluded. So it's got a bit of everything there. So I think Narrowena is definitely one to look out for.
Yeah. Well, that's our wrap, guys. Let us know what you think of our predictions. We're always here to give you the stats and facts of properties. We get them from very reliable sources. So let us know what you guys think the market will do in 2025 and what suburbs will rise. But for now, we'll leave you guys to it. Have a good rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys when we next see you.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. See you later.
See ya.